how do you believe it's your spirit baby versus you wishing it is? First of all, let me define what a spirit baby is for those of you who do not know, which is probably a lot of you. A spirit baby is a baby soul or the spirit that chooses its parents before conception or birth. So the key word here is choose. The baby chooses you as the mother and your partner as the father, if there's a partner involved. There's a choice in the soul coming in and the conditions and environment that they come into. Because the soul already exists before it is conceived physically, you can communicate with them. And they are beings that have been around for a long time. They're not babies. They're wise. They're very loving. And they have a purpose and they have a mission to fulfill on earth. You are here as their guides. You're here to make sure that, they are manifesting what they want on their journey and to help them along. The spirit baby can communicate with their future parents through meditations, and that's how I primarily help my clients, is using meditations to connect with their spirit babies through dreams, synchronicities, and other signs to help guide the parents towards conception, pregnancy, and childbirth. I encourage those who are on the motherhood journey to connect with their spirit baby just to feel reassured that there is indeed a child waiting for you. I work with women in their 40s, so they're typically been on the motherhood journey for a number of years, and often by the time that they reach me and find me, they may be questioning whether or not there is even a baby, because often they're thinking that they might be too old to have a baby. And so I want to reassure everyone that there is a baby for you. In fact, there is a long line of souls who want to incarnate for the first time or reincarnate into the physical world. So there are plenty of souls who are willing to become babies, much more so than there are human parents. Okay. By tuning into the energy and the guidance of the spirit baby, parents can create a deeper connection with their future child and prepare themselves for their arrival. And so, although I don't really emphasize connecting with their spirit baby for guidance, I actually lean more towards using spirit guides for that. I more encourage parents to establish a connection, to nurture the relationship. And that's really where I position the connection of the spirit baby and emphasize that more so. When you're first starting out with your spirit baby, with connecting with them, you probably won't know the difference between the actual spirit baby and your desire to communicate with them. So it's going to be a little bit fuzzy in terms of, am I imagining it? Is it real? That's totally normal. However, if you continue with the practice of connecting with them over time, you're going to be able to start to tell what exists outside of your imagination, because you'll realize that the experience isn't something that you can actually come up with yourself. It will take a life on its own. And when that happens, then you'll be like, oh, okay, this is actually something that I'm receiving. And when you connect with your spirit baby, I want to emphasize that you want to receive what comes to you rather than creating an image or a visualization. So it's actually a very passive process. It's not a mentally active one. It's like you're watching a movie where you're just sitting back and you're watching what comes and you're waiting for something to come to you. If nothing comes, then it's totally fine. You don't want to judge it as being wrong or not enough or whatever it is. It is what it is. For some people, it takes a little time for the connection to develop. For others, it's instantaneous within that first session. And so everyone's different. Everyone's in between. Some may not ever get a really clear sensation of a connection, and that's totally fine as well. If you do get something in terms of communication or an image or whatever it is, just say thank you for coming. Acknowledge the receipt of that, and then move on to what you want to do next in that connection. The more that you question if it's real or if it's your imagination, you can potentially block it from happening. So if you're constantly asking, if it's real or you're just not sure, that can over time create a block. And then, the baby may just say, well, my my parent isn't acknowledging that I'm here, so I'm not even going to bother to try anymore. And so it doesn't mean that they go away. It's just they may not really be all that communicative in the future. So you just really want to be able to receive it. Your spirit baby may come through in different ways. The most common is seeing an image in your inner mind's eye. And so the inner mind's eye is that inner screen that you see when your eyes are closed. Again, think of it as you being in a movie theater and there's a screen in front of you. When people connect with their spirit babies, most commonly they will see an image, and it can range from a 2D, like flat image, like a photograph, like a flat picture, to 3D, to like a VR, virtual reality like movie. And it's usually in color. Every person is going to be different in their ability to see images in their inner mind's eye. I'm on one end of the spectrum where I can't visualize at all. So I can't create images in my mind really of anything. Even my kids, like my kids' faces don't come up in my inner mind's eye. It's just a complete blank. That's a condition called aphantasia. And it's actually quite rare. It affects probably about, I've read that affects about 1% of the population. So it's very much the minority. So it must be partly genetic because my brother can't visualize as well. And then there are people with hyperphantasia on the other end of the spectrum where they have extremely vivid imagination and they're able to create very detailed, very realistic mental images in their mind's eye. And they can visualize images, faces, places, and events with a lot of clarity and often experience mental imagery as if it were happening in real life. For these people, they may actually have more difficulty distinguishing between reality and their imagination. And then there's going to be everyone in between. So wherever you fall on the visualization spectrum, just be okay with it. Sometimes it improves. With my clients, I don't necessarily see that their ability, the clarity improves. More, I see that other senses start getting involved, okay? So most people will start off with connecting with their spirit baby by receiving the images, so receiving it visually. Then others will hear their baby, so they'll hear sounds. It usually, or words, it usually comes in your own voice, so it will probably sound like you. The difference is that the speech pattern or the words used will be different from you, the way that you normally talk or express your thoughts, or you just have a feeling that it's not you. So there is a slight difference. It may be more subtle in the beginning. It may not be super overt. That's why the practicing and the consistent practice is important in order for you to be able to distinguish. Oftentimes they do choose words that are a little bit kind of off. That doesn't quite vibe with common language, whatever your native language is, common language now. So you can kind of tell sometimes when it's not you. Others will feel their spirit baby's energy. Like a lot of times people talk about feeling like a hug or a touch on their shoulder or some other body part that's rated PG. But so they'll feel the energy somehow. Those are the most common ways that people experience connection with their spirit babies. It's often it's also often a combination of one or more senses. It's not typically just visual if it's oftentimes it's visual and or with other senses combined. If you have the gift of the hearing or the touch, it often comes with visual, and so there's usually a combination. But again, everyone's going to be different. It's also possible to be able to have your sense of taste or smell activated when connecting, but I haven't personally come across that with my clients, so that's really rare. I'm just going to put it out there because it can be something that's activated. The most important thing to do is to accept what comes to you without questioning if it's real or if it's imagined. Over time, you're going to build the belief that it's a message from your spirit baby. And once you have that connection in place, you can converse with your baby like you would with anyone else in real life and just get to know them. It's a really beautiful process. It's a gift that you give yourself and to the baby. So just really enjoy it. Try to just be in the present moment of it, and be fully with them. Try not to do other things when you're connecting with them. Just be in meditation or whatever it is, however you're connecting, and just like, oh, thanks for being here. And so, because once they come into the physical realm, the connection is generally harder to maintain, and you're not going to have that level of connection once they come in. So this is a really unique opportunity and unique time to be able to connect with them. And if you can, I do encourage it, because it's, like I said, it's just a short period of time that you'll never really be able to recapture. Okay. If you found this video helpful, like and subscribe to get notified of new videos on this channel. I'm Julie Chang, and I'm here to help women in their 40s manifest their baby. I hold live masterclasses where I answer questions from women on the motherhood journey and post clips here on YouTube. I also help women in my group programs and with personal coaching. So click on the link in the description below to join my email list to stay updated on my offerings. Thank you so much for being here today.